And there we are. We are live tonight. I say we. I'm going solo again tonight, or again, I say Buddy's giving me a solid month throughout spring practice and a lot of shows and instant analysis reports. Thanks to Bart Smokey for sponsoring them. But we're back tonight for TigerBait Live, of course, brought to you by the fine folks at Pride Roofing, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, and the absolute number one roofing company in the state of Louisiana, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. A lot of LSU topics to discuss tonight. Please hit the like button, share, and get the show out to social media. I think we're going to have a lot of good topics tonight. And because I'm solo, I'm going to try to get to as many of your questions and comments as possible tonight. And so we're going to touch on the spring game, the outcome of LSU spring football, LSU baseball, of course, with a loss to UNO last night, and Georgia this weekend at home. We can discuss some of that. Matt McMahon's out trying to build a basketball team, although I still think everybody right now is buzzing about what they saw in the spring football game, the quarterback competition, wondering if the cornerback spot's going to be short up. Big news today, Major Burns tweets out that he's cleared to go now. Right before we went live, Trey Holly tweeted out something about once he makes a decision, he's 100% the running back from Union Parish. We can talk some recruiting. Brian Polian out on the road in Texas for multiple days and says he's all done, and now he's going to be hitting Northwest Louisiana, and he's one of many LSU coaches that are out on the road recruiting. So big show tonight, and like I said, we're going to try to get to as many of your questions and comments as we can. And as always, please get the word out. Please share the show, our link to your Twitter, your Facebook, any LSU groups. I hit a few of them before we went live, but always appreciated when you guys let your fellow LSU friends know that we're live on the air. So there we go. Caleb, first one in with a comment, says this might be the first live I actually catch, and I usually catches them a few weeks late. Glad to have you in, Caleb. And so we ought to have a lot to discuss tonight. I really think that one of the big deals coming out of spring, and of course, like I said just now, Major Burns coming back 100%, waiting on Bernard Converse, the corner, to get healthy. Keyshawn Butte, of course, in a boot, and a few others out there. But I think everybody that you're waiting on should be ready to go by early summer, and then they'll all get in Coach Flint's strength and conditioning program, and then they'll be on their way to get conditioned the right way. So the biggest takeaways that I saw from the spring football game is kind of what Buddy and I were talking about in all of our instant analysis reports. Very organized. That spring game was running like a Rolex watch. And even though it was an offense-defense game, I don't think you were missing anything that you would normally see in a spring football game. I think, obviously, the receiving core has some bright spots. Also, I think the running back group is going to be very strong. Coach Kelly singled out John Emery and his decision to play even though he was not 100%. I think that was very much a positive. Goodwin had a great game. I was in the back of the end zone where he was driving his legs on a few of those drives, and he is hard to defend because of how short he is. And when you think he's down, he's able to put a hand on the ground, and you think his knee hit, and it hasn't because he's much lower than he already is short. And man, that is a weapon, and he keeps those big legs churning. So that's a big one. Kenny Futch in the house with a good evening, Mike. Glad to have you with us, Kenny. And Scott McClendon, should we be hearing about 2 more transfers coming to LSU before May 1st? I think so. I think Brian Kelly alluded to it. I believe it was last Thursday night that they've got a plan. And I think they probably have a pretty darn good idea of how they're going to fill those last 2 spots. Just about everybody, when predicting the last 2, feels that one of them's a given, that it'll be a tight end. Who that might be, I don't know. And then, then you start tossing around, is it another defensive back for the other spot? Is it an offensive lineman? We're going to see how this all plays out. It could be very interesting. Bart Smokey with the same question. I nothing yet, but you got to figure that something's going to happen soon. Caleb, why do people base the entire spring on the spring game? Yeah, I don't. Nuss was the best in the spring game, but he hasn't been the best during spring practices. Um, no, I agree with you. And even some of the things that you saw in the spring game, how do you know how they actually graded out? Did they did they check down? Did they do the right things? What were they seeing when those coaches go to the tape? Who you might think have been the first, second, or third guy might the order might be reversed, regardless of who threw a swing pass and the guy got in the end zone, or a 50-50 ball and it made a quarterback look good. There's a lot more that goes into it, but I will say I think going into the spring game, I think that the odds were that you need to be paying attention to the transfer portal because Nussmeier might be making a decision. But I think after Saturday, I think he's got some confidence about him, and he thinks, no, I'm going to stick around and see if I can win this thing. He didn't look like a guy to me, whether it's through his enthusiasm after the game, the way he was out there with his teammates. So I think where I was one of the guys who was saying that the odds weren't very high that they would be able to hold on to all four quarterbacks and get them to fall camp. Now it looks like that could be a real possibility. Kyle Skeens, hey, Mike, how are we feeling about the big recruits that were there for the spring game? Christian Gray, Dante Moore, Jackson Howard, Darnell Tate. We've had several Dante Moore updates, and the front page right now is a little bit of DanteMoore.com. We've got a real good source on him, and his visit was fantastic. Go to the TigerBait and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber and able to get those updates, try us out for $1. And like I always say, go choose the annual package. But I will tell you this, I think LSU is positioned very well with him. I think Jackson Howard, been LSU twice in several months. Had a little communication with him. I think he loves it. Coach Denbrock's doing a fantastic job recruiting him. And we're going to see on the others. But I think Notre Dame and others are very much nervous about LSU and Dante Moore right now. I think between the weather, Joe Burrow there on the weekend, and Justin Jefferson and Clyde and Jamar Chase, Moss, it was unbelievable, for those guys. They had their eyes wide open at LSU, and then I think Brian Kelly and his staff, of course, did an excellent job. Crawfish boils, the works. I think the only thing that maybe, but this has always been the case at LSU, spring games are just not well attended. When you see Oklahoma packing the house and other schools getting 80,000 for their spring games, that's always been an issue at LSU. I think probably that's the only downer that you could say for the weekend, but I don't even know if those kids look at it that way. But that's just spring games have never been a big attendance draw for LSU. And then you had baseball going on across the street. James Phillips, who are the three high school players must get out of Louisiana, the 23 class? Just off the top of my head, I think Trey Holly, Shelton Sampson, and I think your two offensive linemen. I think those two, you can throw Derek Williams in there. But I think those are probably your guys right there. Good weather fella, love what I'm seeing from Doomerville. Yeah, I'm going to watch the spring game again. I didn't get to focus on him, but you're not the only one. Mike, May 1 is approaching. What are you going to do about the tight end position? I don't know. I don't have a name for you. I assume it's going to be a tight end, but yeah, Mark Cumbie with the Flames for Dante Moore. All good reason to put Flames next to him. I think LSU is in a real good spot. Leonard Sarasota, top of the evening to you, Mike. Where's Buddy? Buddy's on a date tonight. Absolutely true. He didn't lie to me. Actually, he had me on speakerphone at about 7:30 in the car, and they were on their way to, is it Roberto's? Never been, but he says it's great. Bingo night running a little long? Yeah. How long do you think Coach Kelly sticks around in Baton Rouge? If successful, do you stick around after age 65? Um, look, is this it for him? Does he, coach 6, 7 years? Does he finish out the whole contract? Who knows? But he's certainly tied in with Woodward, and if he has success and good health and loves Baton Rouge, and he's winning 10 games a year on average after a year or two of getting it where it needs to be to get to that point. Who knows? He sure looks. If there was any issue with him at Notre Dame and maybe getting antsy or needing to be re-energized or a new focus or a new new goals or something new to excite him, I think he's got it in Baton Rouge. I really do think he's enjoying what's happening so far. Any portal news, Blaine Smith? Yeah, that's the top of the. Everybody's got that question. I have not heard anything. There's nothing happening right now as far as that goes. Richard Sinnett with a let's go. Guys, please share. And as I say every week, hit the like button on our YouTube channel, the subscription button, and the notification bell. Very much appreciative. We hit the 12,000 mark on our YouTube channel on Sunday, and that is a hell of a milestone. We've added 3,000 subscribers in like 3 or 4 months. It's been an incredible run, and it's all due to you guys tuning in each and every week, helping us with the algorithm, liking it, tuning in the show, participating. Very much appreciative to all you guys making it happen. Chance Babin, fans have their opinions of the quarterback race, but which quarterback has the locker room behind him? Man, that's a good question. I don't know that the players have a favorite. I would assume just because Jaden Daniel just arrived, maybe he's not where Miles is. But that might not be the case. You got a lot of new faces on that roster, a lot of new guys that came in. You're going to have a new influx of true freshmen. It could be Garrett. I mean, there's a lot of the guys in the program that came in with Garrett. I think the guys just want I think the team will get behind whoever is the winner of the job. I don't know that there's any politics, or if one guy gets it, then all of a sudden you're going to have some cancers in the locker room. I don't believe there's anything like that going on. I think they just like their own positions. They want the best guy to win the job, and it'd be a fair fight. Kenny Futch, if Dante Moore chooses LSU, the Notre Dame fans will really melt. Yeah, they will. They are still crying about Kelly leaving for LSU. If you look at our YouTube channel, anytime I load the Brian Kelly post-spring game video, the interview of him post-game, was it 14, 15 minutes? That's still getting comments, and probably every other comment is, I believe, to be a Notre Dame fan with a healthy case of butthurt. Yeah, Blaine, this is a good one. Glad to see Nick Brissett back. Nick is as good as it gets. I don't know. Obviously, they said he's going to be like a high school liaison. I don't know if they say that's the exact duties that Coach Baglio had for years at LSU, or a little bit of that, maybe something extra. But you're talking about Nick Brissett, a guy that is very well liked by everybody in the area. Obviously, once his career finished, he's tried to hook on with some teams, but has also been involved coaching at U-High and other schools, working out other kids. I think last year he was personal training Le'Veon Moss, who ended up at A&M. But one of the most likable LSU players in LSU history, great personality, and I think he'll be fantastic in that job. That's another example of Brian Kelly doing his homework, probably meeting with guys and getting a good feeling about who they are, their character, and so forth. I think it's going to be. I think that's a great deal right there. Bart Smokey, don't have to sign by May 1st. They just have to be in the portal by May 1st. That's right. So LSU doesn't have to have those 2 spots filled by May 1st, but the guys that could fill those 2 spots will have to have been in there by May 1. 256 Moxley, hope there will be no trouble and legal issues with any players before or during the season. The police blotter has certainly been kind of when was the last time that there's been some issues with the police? wide receiver from New Orleans who's no longer on the team. Is that maybe the last one? Yeah. It's been a while. Barry Barbier, do you think that our recruiting class this upcoming year will be at least a top 15 class? I do. Anything less than a top 10 class at LSU any year is not acceptable. I think with what they're doing nationally, how I think they're going to finish out with the Louisiana kids, I think this class will definitely be a top 10 class. And they're already pumping up June camps. I think it was Coach Steeples earlier tonight tweeting out a graphic. When they're on the road, May evaluation period, talking to high school coaches, they're really impressing upon the coaches to let the kids know. And, of course, when they talk to them on the phone and when they have them on the campus, look, we want you back at camp. We really want you at camp, June, whatever. And then they'll pinpoint each one of those guys depending on their position, which day they want them to come. But I think it all starts, on June 3rd is the first one I saw. And then you've got 4 or 5 of them throughout the month of June. Yeah, Blaine Smith, Stingley rising up the draft boards. I've seen a lot of that in the last 24 hours. 256 Moxley, we will have a top 10 recruiting class. I believe that. Brian Madeir, Mike and Buddy, sunshine pumping today at 8 and 4. No way, Jose. No, I'm sticking with 8 and 4 right now. I see no reason to go to 7 and 5. And look, I think obviously when you look at it, you're thinking issues at defensive back, tight end, and then you always do it when you've got to go to Florida, Auburn, A&M. Auburn's in dumpster fire. Florida's got a new coach. They've got some talent. Fellas, you can get that quarterback situation ironed out, and I think that offensive line is going to be a lot better, and it's going to get better every week. And if they avoid the injury bug, you might be able to get some. As long as you don't stub your toe and, lose one to Arkansas or Mississippi State, one of those games that gets you that you're look, and then you got Tennessee. Don't forget you got Tennessee on the schedule. I've been making the mistake of not thinking about Tennessee, and they feel like they've got a pretty good team. Caleb, I'm curious, concerned about center because Turner isn't that guy. Yeah, we're waiting to see on Dellinger. And so that's why we all think tight end's one of the two spots is at center. We're not hearing anything about centers in the portal. I think that they're going to try and make it go with Dellinger and Turner. Tony Williams, what's up, Mike? Glad to have you in, Tony. Sav Adams, Daniels was overhyped. Yeah, look, is there a true scenario? And I keep saying it each and every week. And I thought the first practice of spring, I went out there and I thought Miles threw the worst. But since that practice, and of course that's in the time period allotted for media. Since that time, I think Daniel is the least accurate thrower of the 4 quarterbacks. That said, is he the most dynamic when a play breaks down? And so you've got all these components with each one of these guys. They've all got negatives. They've all got positives. Miles, you don't like what his 40 time is. Daniels can run. Walker Howard's going to get a red shirt, but you like that he can run. Garrett's the guy that's got it all. He can run. He can move. He's got an arm. But is he still the guy that's probably most prone to make the mistake at the worst time? So that's why you have media bringing it up at multiple press conferences. Is there any likelihood that you could be heading towards a 2-quarterback system? And so we're going to see how that plays out. Chris English, what's up, everyone? Good evening, Mike. Glad to have you with us, Chris. Mike, so May 1st is the deadline. No, that's not the deadline, but whoever you would add has to have been in the portal by May 1. Dane Bergeron, glad to have you with us. Hey, Mike. Dane, one of our longtime TigerBait subscribers. Kenny Futch, the Irish faithful may want to buy some Boudreaux's butt paste. Bo Swindle, realistically, I see us at 9 and 3. I think 9 and 3 would be you really had some things go your way and some guys stepped up and some other teams in the league stubbed their toe or you were able to expose their weaknesses. And believe me, everybody on the schedule's got weaknesses. Of course, Alabama's going to be the team to beat. But, you got to go to College Station. But, just remember, like I said on Blake's show last night. That LSU team had no business being within 14, 21, 28 points of A&M if they're as good as Aggie fans have been saying they are. And they beat them. So I'm never going to concede that game. Joseph, that is Giat. Frank Wilson. Is there a question with Frank? Let me know. James Phillips, what changes do you see coming from the NCAA now that Mark Emmert is leaving? I don't know. I don't know that, Mark Emmert is obviously a whipping boy, but he's absolutely powerless. I don't know, unless they have some constitutional convention and the SEC commissioner and other league commissioners cede power to him and grant an NCAA commissioner power that they currently don't have. I think the most powerful man in college football is Sankey at the SEC office, followed by other commissioners of other leagues. And now that you've got NIL, the only thing that the NCAA's really got that they can hammer schools over is they own the NCAA basketball tournament, and you know how many millions and millions of dollars that makes. Chance Babin, think Brissett might help pull some U-High players? Oh, of course. But, we're going to see what Jaden Osbury does. I'm supposed to go see U-High at one of their practices here in a couple of weeks. Kevin Dunn, be on the lookout for a tight end from Utah to enter the portal. Okay. Look at this, Penn Jones. I think it'll be a top 5 class. All right. I want to talk about, of course, this show each and every week is brought to you by Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez with Pride Roofing. Let's go ahead and hear from them.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Alex.
Were you affected by Hurricane Ida?
Insurance claim, no problem.
Are you concerned about the shortage of building materials?
We have what you need.
We're licensed residential and commercial contractors.
In Louisiana and Mississippi.
We install shingles, metal, and commercial roofing. From Baton Rouge to Slidell or Houma up to the North Shore.
We got you covered. Call Pride, 855-PRIDE-16.
Pride Roofing, the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
There they are, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez, Pride Roofing, and of course they're continuing to run that TigerBait promo. Call them 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait, and they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium for a year. So you're under no obligation. If you're just getting your roof inspected for your residence or your commercial business, and you say you heard about them on TigerBait, they're going to send me an email from Miss Tammy saying that with your email address and name, and for me to give you the free TigerBait subscription for a year. And then I send Tammy and Mike a bill. And so you cannot beat that deal. And a lot of guys have jumped on it, and they're going to continue to run it. And because a lot of guys end up getting their roofs from them, they're absolutely the best in the business. Check them out. Go stop by their shop in Albany, Louisiana, right there on Florida Boulevard. And, of course, they just had the big acquisition of Crown Metals across the street. Multi-million-dollar investment that they're having there. So they're doing big-time roofs on major commercial buildings. Any type of roof you need, best labor, they're going to get to you, and they're competitive. If you've got a bid situation, they're going to get after it and make sure that they can give you the best deal possible. If you've got a high deductible and it's raking you over the coals, they've got ways to help you get to where you need to be. So give Pride Roofing a call, 855-PRIDE-16. And big thanks to Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez for all they do here at TigerBait. And, of course, they're the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. Let's see here real quick. Doug knows. Tiger Talk listener here, Nick Storrs, said today, this ain't a rebuild. That's how they expect to win now. Look, there's a lot of talent there. I was talking to someone today. I was talking to Coach Akpan over at Madison Prep this morning, and I said, "Man, I'm standing in the back of the end zone at when the players were coming out at halftime for the second half of the spring game, and I look up and they kind of paused before they ran out further, and Quincy was right in front of me. Man, the Quincy and others, but just I'm looking at the way some of these guys look physically right now, and I feel like I'm going overboard with everything that we're seeing out there. But man, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what these football players look like in August if they've had even more months in the new strength and conditioning program at LSU. Some of these guys absolutely fantastic. And look, if the rest of that football team, and I think they do, have the mentality that Nick Storrs does, the sky could be the limit. There's no doubt there's a lot of very good talent on that team. Just need another recruiting class, avoid the injury bug, and things can happen. LSU's not the only one that's got some question marks. D. Lee says he's going 10-2. All right. Chris English, do you think Emmert changes scholarships to allow schools? Well, see, it's not up to Emmert. It's up to the voting masses when they have conventions and those study groups and those spin-out committees. There's talk that they're going to end the 25 maximum in a recruiting class, that you simply have to be at 85 by August. What are going to be some of the notes on that? If you're going to do that, you need to have some parameters in there so you don't have coaches, not renewing scholarships so they can get a whole new, influx of talent because they made some bad recruiting decisions the year or two before. Tony Williams, what are the odds of Caleb Jackson coming to LSU? I think LSU's in a good spot with Caleb. Kind of quiet. I think Trey Holly, I put in a prediction for him to LSU on Saturday. Is it a 2 running back class? Is it a 3 running back class? It's always tricky when you try to go 3. Tommy Robinson, of course, was once at LSU, now at A&M, has been hard after Caleb. But I've seen Caleb at LSU several times. I tend to think he stays home. That's going to be a tough. That's not one you want to lose. So because I think between him and Trey, you've got 2 different backs there, and I think they complement each other as far as 2 guys in a single recruiting class. Hey, Mike, great reporting as usual. Where's Buddy? Buddy's got a date night, Ed. He'll be back next week. Doug knows Storrs stated they don't expect losses. Man, now Storrs says they're going undefeated. Penn Jones, I agree with you on D. Lee. Okay. Hey, Mike, is it true Buddy's been sneaking into the team cafeteria? No, but I've been trying to. Man, the food in there is incredible. But I think it looks like some of the coaches have been sneaking in there. I think some LSU coaches have already put on some weight in a hurry. Wayne Landry, hello, Mike. I'm working a union job here in Portland, Oregon. Listening to your show. Glad to have you with us, Wayne. He says, I appreciate the show and all the information. Great job. Thank you, Wayne. Dane Bergeron, Mike, would you comment on market? Man, everybody's on Emmert, man. How old is Mark now? How old is he now? He might just be ready to retire, man. Was he making $3 million a year? He's probably ready to cash out. He's probably got a great retirement plan. Everybody's beating him up all the time. He doesn't have any teeth, who are they going to put in there? Who wants that gig? Because whoever goes in next right behind them, they're working with the same set of powers. I don't know if they're going to be any successful than him. It's not like Mark Emmert's a dummy. Where's Sony Fanua? Anthony Bradford, Jarrell Cherry. Yeah, look, there's some guys there that, you wonder what's going to happen. Depth chart, that's what, how the portal works. Bo Swindle, SEC defense will stack the box and make Jaden throw it if he is a starter. I just don't think he is a good enough passer to win games for us through the air. Yeah, and so you can sit there and look at all 3 quarterbacks and ding each one of them. Is there a guy there that can give you above average quarterback play? Is there a guy in there that at the end of the year is maybe honorable mention all SEC? Can he be can he get into that discussion? You certainly want the quarterback that's not going to hurt you, but do you have one who can drive you 80 yards to win a football game at the end of a fourth quarter? Sampa, yeah. I've been assuming that Sevyn Banks and Bernard Converse will be the starters on the outside but Garner has impressed me. I'm not giving anything to Seven Banks. I think Bernard Commerce is one of them. But I don't know that Banks rolls right in and starts. But Bernard Converse needs to get healthy, and he's still got a battle. Nothing's going to be given to either one of them. 256 Moxley, going to call it now. We finished 9-3 and beat Bama. They run the table and still get in the college football playoff, though. But we put the football world on notice of the future, finishing top 5 recruiting. I'll tell you, look, there's no doubt first year excitement, first year bounce in recruiting. It gets a lot of people excited. It's not going to be a surprise to me that you're going to have a big part of the fan base all going 10-2 by August. I see it happening. Richard Sinnett, who are they recruiting at defensive tackle? Yeah, that's, you look at some of the guys that are on the board, and I keep saying, where are the defensive linemen in the state of Louisiana? And you got the Gilbert kid from Indianapolis that they're after. There's other kids out there that we're looking at, but some of the guys that the previous staff offered just have not are not looking like guys. So I will say this: Jackson Howard, the defensive end that was in this weekend, a lot of people have him listed as a tight end. I talked to Jackson and from Indianapolis. Man, talk about a great kid. I think LSU is really in a good spot with him. So there's another defensive lineman, defensive end, but he could play tight end. But I think he's coming to LSU. I say if he comes to LSU, he would come as a defensive end and start there first before there would be any talk of maybe going to tight end down the line. But I think his first goal is his desire is to come on the defensive side of things, and that's how they're recruiting him. So defensive line, though, is a big question mark. Coach Kane's got his work cut out for him, and that was something I said to him, what was that, back in February or March when we got to talk to him. I said, man, you on one hand, you've got the good spot where you're very deep right now, but looking around Louisiana for next year, I'm not seeing much, and you're going to have to go out of state. And unless somebody comes out during the spring evaluation period, there you go. Chance Babb, Cole Taylor looks vastly improved, needs to put on a few pounds, but he played solid in the spring game. Yep, Brian Kelly singled him out several times, and so Coach Denbrock has worked with him extensively. I shot a good bit of practice video of Coach Denbrock working those tight ends, and we'll see how improved they are. Of course, you got Mashburn there as well. Tony Williams, I hope Nick Storrs gets a lot of playing time this season. He has good hands and moves well over the middle of the field. Doug knows. Hey, Mike, any comment on Aggie not paying up like they promised the recruits? Aggie Portal 2023 should be lit. They're not paying up. Is that happening? What do you do in some of these NIL deals? If you're a player and you work an NIL deal with a business and they don't pay up, I mean, are we actually going to see football players turning over car dealers and personal injury attorneys to collection agencies? I mean, is that going to be a new business too for some guys? Collection agencies for college football players on their NIL deals, and what percentage are they going to want if they collect? There's a whole lot of gears in this fiasco. Kenny Futch at Doug knows that's why the 5-star linebacker flipped LSU. There you go. And of course, he's going to be arriving here early June, late May. Harold Perkins. Baseball errors. Yep. Yeah, Buddy Sanji, partner in crime. He'll be back next week. Let's see. I think the quarterback will be Daniel, says Robert Johnson. Man, there's a good contingent. I joke, but I'm kind of not joking. A lot of people have. There's a Nussmeier contingent out there. There's a Brennan. There's a Daniels contingent, but the Miles Brennan people are the ones that are going to fight you, and going to give you some harsh words on social media if you don't agree with them on Miles. What do you think about the players Mulkey has signed in the portal? Yeah, couple from West Virginia. What was it, Missouri? You got the girl from Atlanta coming in, MVP of the Jordan All-Star game. She's putting together a whale of a basketball team. It's going to be fun. A lot of people getting on the waiting list to buy season tickets. Yeah, I mentioned that early in the show, Keem. Major Burns is cleared. He tweeted out that he's been cleared. He came up during pregame, gave me a hug, and was wearing a boot or so. But that's quick. He's ready to go. Chris English, if they stack the box on Daniels, he can throw it deep. His deep ball has been good. It's his intermediate routes that have been off. I tell you what, I really would have liked to have seen Walker Howard get one series with the ones on Saturday. Knowing he's going to redshirt, I get all that. But I would have liked to have seen it. Let's see. James Phillips, what seems to be an issue with Peyton Todd that he can't win the punting job? He was ranked number one player coming out of high school. I don't know if he wasn't rated number one in the country, but he was certainly number one in Louisiana. But I watched him punt on Saturday. He launched one when I was standing in the back of the end zone, and I watched that football leave his foot, and boy, it had a brutal spin on it, and he kicked one deep. I kept waiting for the announcer to say what the yards was. Y'all might know because some of y'all were watching on TV. They probably would have said it, but he launched one, and the way that ball left a foot, I know that's not an easy ball to field. So we'll see. Obviously, you got a Notre Dame transfer coming in, and he's got a relationship with Polian. But Todd's going to stick it out, and we're going to see how it plays out. Brian Champagne, you don't want to lose Nuss. Yeah. Chris English, yeah, Walker should have gotten one series at the ones. His deep ball and throwing is better than everyone's. I believe that. Faye Hugh Schubert, it looked like there was much more camaraderie among the players in the spring game. I've been telling y'all all spring, I think these kids are having fun. I think they like the structure. I think they like the discipline. I think they like the rules. I think they like the power that Brian Kelly gives them to govern themselves at the same time. I think they're excited about the coaching that they're getting and the fresh start. I think there's a lot of reasons for all those LSU football players to be extremely excited about their future. So that's why you got a lot of people getting crazy with season predictions right now, Faye. But yeah. All right, guys, I want to talk about our dear friend Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial. Of course, she's a vital part of what we do here each and every week on TigerBait, our live show. So if you're thinking of buying a new home, refinance your current mortgage, or you haven't found a lender you can trust, let me tell you about Tony Freeman with Assurance Financial right here in Baton Rouge. Dear friend of mine, someone that many of my friends have used for their mortgage experience, for their mortgage needs over and over. Her knowledge and 25 years of experience in the mortgage industry is unsurpassed. Tony offers a wide range of knowledge of home loan products, whether you're a first-time home buyer, ready to buy a new home, or you just want to explore your refinance options. Tony can guide you through your next mortgage experience. You can feel confident you're making the best financial decision with Tony as your guide. Not only is Tony a huge LSU fan, but Assurance Financial is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Call Tony today, 225-239-7150. Again, that's 225-239-7150. And please, please tell her you heard about her right here on TigerBait.com. NMLS number 104765. equal housing opportunity, 70876. And she is the absolute best in the business. She will make any of your mortgage needs a pleasurable one. She's going to go bend over backwards to help you get all the documentation you need to get to closing time when you need to. She's just, I love her to death. So I think y'all will too. Give her a call, and please tell her you saw her right here on TigerBait. Esteban is in the house. ML Chambers, exactly. They just ran 2 schemes. That's why the offense made adjustment in the second half and started moving the ball. John Marion, it will be Brennan, Nuss, and then Daniels in that order for quarterback. It could be. It could be reversed. It could be Daniels and Brennan and then Nuss. Man, that's a tough one. But I don't know that Daniels is last, though. I know what we're saying about throwing the football. And I tell you what, I do believe this. I think if you let every coach in that building at LSU put a name in the hat who they think was the leader, and not just them, maybe GAs or offense assistants, anybody who's a part of the program that's been out at practice, I think you'd be surprised at how differing the opinions are is who a lot of them think the quarterback should be, not just the main staff members. Fire3449 says he agrees with John Marion. Esteban, if Denbrock wants to use the same scheme like Cincy, he's going to go with Daniels or Nuss. Look, there's no doubt that's one of the problems with Miles is his footwork, his ability to move out of the pocket, not get caught. You know, that's definitely an issue for Miles. Dane Bergeron, Brennan needs to show some durability and accuracy. I think Nuss has a lot of confidence coming out of spring. I'll say that. Jonathan Burris. Yes, Walker is redshirting this year. Yep. But even though he's redshirting, it would have been nice for him to have gotten an opportunity with one series with the ones, not just a couple of series with walk-ons. Trucking with Casper. Is Howard a guy who can actually be great to lead us to a natty? I believe he can. I think you're probably going to see Walker Howard in the 200 and over 200 pound range before August. I believe that. PCNG, I want Walker to play. Everyone else is a placeholder. Chance Babin, you think the cornerback from Desmet in St. Louis signs with LSU? That could be a solid pipeline for us with Steeples. I think LSU is in great shape with that high school, and they're going to continue to recruit those guys. So when it comes to DBs, though, you want to leave some room for some Louisiana kids. I'll say that. But, yeah, Christian Gay, I think LSU's in a good spot for him. Scrolling down, guys. Give me a minute. Yeah, Jonathan Burris. How does the Ohio State cornerback factor? He's got to come in and compete. He was a guy that was a good player at Ohio State the last few years, but he wasn't a world beater. But he's a guy with experience at a high level, so he's going to have an opportunity. He's also older and mature, so you're getting some bodies there. You're having some options, and that's what they need, and that's what you go to the portal for. Fire3449, Mike, where can you find out who is on the staff like the analyst? I'm sure if you dig around on LSUsports.net, there's a listing somewhere. If you go to administration, football administration on LSUsports.net, they have everybody listed there. I'm pretty sure that they're all there. I could be wrong. Bart Smokey, Walker needs to see action in 4 games this year. He is the most talented. But see, that's tough, Bart. You know, we say that about number 2 quarterbacks every year, and it's so hard to get quarterbacks playing time. You know, your starters, I mean, even that great 2019 season, I mean, how many games did, even some lopsided scores, did Burrow go a full 3 quarters and part of a fourth? And then, so you're going to go, you know, you got to, so then you would have to, you know, play Brennan. You know, you'd have to go for, you know, whoever the guys are. You got 2 guys ahead of Walker to get him in. So I don't know. Do you split it up? One non-conference game, he gets in and gets a good deal, but maybe the next somebody else does another game. I think he's going to get some time, but how do you do it? Because if they're still sitting there with 4 quarterbacks to start the season, that's difficult. Scrolling down, let me see. Who? Yeah, let's see. The Welsh kid also arrives. LSU will not have 4 quarterbacks, 2 at the most. Man, so you're thinking 2 of them are going to hit the portal in the next week? ML Chambers, Mike, how does the June camp looking like? Coaches will definitely be busy. I think that they're going to have some very good I think the camps are going to be jam-packed. I do believe that. Guys, go to TigerBait, subscribe. We've got 2 Dante Moore stories up. We posted a summary late Monday, last night, and then another one, a full update this morning. Go to TigerBait, subscribe, choose the annual package. When you subscribe and you take the annual versus a monthly, you're saving 3 months. So you're getting basically 3 months free when you choose the annual. American Patriot, big thanks for the super chat. Great show, Mike. I've been missing a lot of the high school coaches complaining about the portal hurting high school recruiting. Your opinion? That is one of the problems. You've got guys going to the portal, and coaches need quick fixes, and they'd much rather a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old over somebody else, a high school freshman, and so you're running into that problem, and a lot of coaches feel they can get well in a hurry in the portal, and so that hurts the high school kids. So that's why you wonder if they're going to expand rosters above 85. Are they going to get rid of the 25? How are they going to play this? At some point, and Coach Kelly said this, he wants to build his program with high school kids. But right now he's got to use the portal. But you just wonder, after a couple more years of this, or maybe less, you're going to start to see a pattern in a way tactically that college programs, particularly the size of LSU's, start to utilize the portal. Once they get settled, once Kelly gets settled and he starts getting his guys, and he's got a recruiting class or 2 or 3, I think the dust is going to settle. But we're still going to wait. We still have to wait to see what the NCAA is going to do. Thank you for the super chat, American Patriot. Denley Nelson, great work, brother. Love watching you guys. Thank you very much, Denley. Big thanks for the super chat and the kind words. And look, we want to have all you guys go subscribe to TigerBait. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Our YouTube channel is growing, and our Tiger Den premium message board. I'm there day and night answering your questions. We want to have you. And so we've got a lot of recruiting stuff coming your way. Of course, our baseball coverage, and we've got a lot of stuff coming your way on TigerBait.com. So, all right, guys, thanks for all you guys for participating. Very much appreciative for all of you guys, and we'll be back here next week with Buddy, and I also have probably a special show coming up with a player that I'm working on right now that I hope to get him by the end of the week. So that's why you need to hit the notification bell on YouTube for when I load that one up. So, all right, guys, y'all have a good evening. We'll see rest of the week down the line. Good night.